Hello, and welcome to this new podcast of FinGraphs on Dukascopy TV. Today we're going to review the crypto space. 2 weeks ago we came and projected a bounce into early mid-October, and we're going to now consider where we are with this situation. To do so, we will use our fingraphs.com platform and a mosaic which includes Bitcoin, Ethereum, the ratio of Ethereum versus Bitcoin, and the euro dollar on both a daily basis for the perspective over the next few months and an hourly basis for the perspective over the next few weeks. What we can see is that most cryptos are in a consolidation to the downside. This consolidation for now is relatively shallow. We can see it on Bitcoin, on Ethereum, and on the ratio. It is quite similar to the one we are also seeing on euro-US dollar. Within this consolidation, we've probably found support and a stabilization towards late September on all these elements, and we are now attempting to rebound and possibly to retest up for another week or so. We will first look at Bitcoin, and here on an investor's view. An investor's view is 3 charts over different investment horizons. The first one is a weekly graph for the perspective over the next few quarters. The second one is a daily graph for the perspective over the next few months. And the shorter term one, the hourly, gives us the perspective over the next few weeks. What we can see is that Bitcoin is back in an uptrend after having corrected very, very strongly in 2018. It's, in our view, has been starting to build a base with higher lows. One in late 2018 and one in late 2019. It is currently moving up towards a resistance. That resistance, we believe, is around 12,600. We do expect these levels to be taken out over the next few quarters and a new uptrend to materialize on Bitcoin, possibly into next spring. Potentially, we could even reach the highs made late 2017 over the next few quarters. Now, if we look at the daily graph, we are on a bear trend, and it's an intermediate correction because it's still in gray here. There could be still some risk below 10,000 and eventually towards 8,000, but we believe that the correction will probably be more shallow than that. It may last for another month or so. Shorter term, on the hourly graph, we've had a first incidence of exaggeration with our oscillators close to the oversold zone, a rebound, and a second incidence here. This usually builds a base for a further rebound or retest up, and we believe Bitcoin could make it above 11,100 quite quickly and possibly attempt to retest its August highs. This move, however, probably will not last that long, for another week, maybe 2 weeks, and then we expect further retracement into the US election and its direct aftermath, probably into early mid-November. From then on, we would expect a further leg up, which could start and lead us into the spring. Now, getting back to the mosaic, we will look at Ethereum. Ethereum is quite similar to Bitcoin. It was more oversold here towards late 2019, early 2020, and is now in a correction up, which sees resistance around 700. It will probably have or take more time to get back to its 2017 highs, but we would expect that over the next few quarters, it could reach back towards this resistance around 700. On a daily basis, we are also in an intermediate correction, which could last another month or so, and possibly find support slightly below 300. And on the hourly graph, we've probably created a base here with this first low and this exaggeration here early September, and then a second situation here in October. And we're currently in some kind of a bounce or retest up, which could last another week or so, and probably lead us back towards the higher end of the envelope here, above 400, maybe towards 420. Thereafter, as with Bitcoin, we would expect a new retest down into early mid-November before the trend really resumes higher into next spring. Now, we also look at the ratio of Ethereum versus Bitcoin. It is basically pointing to Ethereum, which is more high beta than Bitcoin at the moment. We believe it's kind of the growth beta play in versus Bitcoin at the moment. The ratio was also very much oversold in 2019 and is currently attempting to rebound into its corrective zones here. We believe it could reach it probably over the next few quarters into next spring. Similarly to Bitcoin or Ethereum, we are in an intermediate correction, which could probably last another month or so into early mid-November before the trend eventually resumes higher. And shorter term, we are also quite oversold here and do expect a bounce over the next week, maybe couple of weeks, and towards the higher end of the envelope here. So similarly to Bitcoin and Ethereum, a short-term bounce into into mid-October, perhaps one more week thereafter, and then towards late October, early November, some retracement towards the recent lows, and then finally a stabilization during late November, and a resume uptrend situation from late November, December into next spring. Just to finish off, we just wanted to compare these trends with the euro-dollar, and we see that the movements are quite similar. When we are in an intermediate correction also on euro-US dollar, although according to our trend indicators, it is shallower. We are currently attempting to retest up and towards resistance here around 118. If we do make it above this short-term resistance on our hourly graph, we could probably retest up towards 119, 120, so practically to the highs that were made in August and early September. And then we would also expect further retracement, possibly down to the 116, 115 range once again into early mid-November. Thereafter, we are quite bullish on the euro from late November, December into next spring, and possibly eyeing a quite a strong rally above 120, possibly up to the 2018 highs around 124, 125. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a great week. Thank you very much.